Save it for the show. Don't even say it. I don't know. I know you're bursting at the seams. Here's some hard candies.
Yeah.
That you're not going to like.
No, I'm not.
I'm back on the high chew bus. Back on the high chew bus. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Do you know that people still...
Testing. High chew.
No, I won't touch that again.
Testing. High chew.
Here's what Josh doesn't want.
No, it's more that...
Well, that happens with... Yeah, but that happens without the hard candy, right?
That's a whole different sound.
That's a whole different thing. Josh, often when I'm feeling good about myself, he'll call me up and it'll remind me of another vocal tick I do. He goes, "Hey, Andy, I'm editing down the show. Nah, nah. What's that all about? Nah. Nah.
Are you having problems with your adenoids, Andy?
I don't know. Yeah. Who talks like that? I suppose.
No.
Come on, there's some of a celebrity. No. Oh, it's it's Art Fern.
Yeah, so.
That was my Art Fern.
Okay, it's a celebrity's character.
What's that? What's that?
It's a celebrity's character.
I just saw Clyde rubbing his back.
Wow, good story.
On the until 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the difference between myself and your dogs. You know what I'm saying? You should be happy that I'm finally learning about others. I couldn't tell. It's one dog, two dogs. It's the dog that likes me now. It's a dog that likes me now. I thought this would be funny when I was thinking about it.
Yeah, well, it's workshopping.
Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere near your first thought theater assaults. You know?
Right.
I don't want to be accused of it. No. I haven't seen you in a long time.
No, it feels like an extra long time.
It is a long time. It feels like we haven't done the show in 2 weeks, even though it's only been 10 days or 9 days.
But just as our listeners tell us that they come to associate Mondays with us, I do too now.
Well, I associate Mondays with the following things: Thought Spiral, the song,
the Boomtown Rats,
the Boomtown Rats, which is I don't like Mondays, right?
Yes.
But my favorite is Monday, Monday. Yeah. That song will never. You ask me, will that song get old for me, Andy? No, I'm not saying I'm doing a rendition of it.
I can't trust that song.
You can't trust that song. Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is boom, fine. I'm showing you for the uninitiated at home without revealing the melody how they do it.
Yeah,
it's a row, row, row your boat thing. They're the first people who perfected that in rock.
Yeah. The round.
Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day, boom, bang, yeah. They have such great voices. And I know I don't. Denny Dougherty.
Yeah.
Mama Cass.
Right.
Elliot. John Phillips and Michelle, but she had some other name. I'm reading this book about Laurel Canyon, which I am very much enjoying. It's called Laurel Canyon.
Wow.
Have you heard of it?
Clever. Yes, I have.
You have heard of it?
I have.
Yeah, because it came as
the canyon I've heard. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, this is a typical, what I like to call an Andy Kindler project. I wanted to read this. I don't read a lot of books anymore because of how busy I am. I just don't have the patience sometimes. But I always wanted to read this book because I'm fascinated with that time period.
Yeah.
And when you pick this book up, boop, bap, beep, bap, boom. The book says, yes. Why did it wait since 2005 when you got this book as a present, or 2007?
Right.
And I moved out here.
And do you feel now that had you been around at that time, you would have been invited to all these places?
This is the sadness of my life. Not the sadness, but this is I don't even want to oversell it. But here's how I feel my life is, that I can only compare with my wife's life, which is I thought everyone's life regretted being born 5 years too late to experience the 60s. But that's just not true. It's just not true by the numbers. If you do the numbers, everybody can't have that same upbringing.
No.
So I was moved out to California. You know what? I'm dropping the ball. I'm dropping the pretenses. I'm going full age.
Okay.
Full age on me.
Yeah, which you just turned last week, a different one.
Yeah. 62.
Okay. I've been calling you 62 for like the last year, so I was prepping you.
I thought I've been doing it so much I thought it was 63.
Yeah. I wasn't
Funny
sure.
joke in the birthday market.
Yeah.
Yes, it was 62, and I moved out here in 1978. So if you think about it, what they call the Laurel Canyon heyday was like 1964 to 1974. So I knew my whole life I felt like I just missed it. You just missed Woodstock. You just missed the 60s.
Right.
You just missed being good enough to be a musician. That'd be another thing I'd say. I don't know why I thought the few years would be another way to put me down. Nice going, being born after Woodstock. No, not after Woodstock, but...
I was born after Woodstock.
You were born after Woodstock because you were born 19... Oh, it doesn't matter, right? Why should you get specific? Just because I promise.
I was born in the 70s.
That's a hard pill to swallow.
It's hard to
someone like me.
From where I'm sitting, it's a hard pill to swallow at this point.
The only thing I can feel better about it is that I feel you're older now, and I don't feel as jealous of you anymore.
Yeah.
Older. You've had illnesses? You know what I'm saying?
I've had illnesses. I've wiped any trace of Wunderkind off the trail.
Yeah. Hey, well, how does it feel now, Wunderkind? Yeah, I didn't start till I was 28. Now we're both in the same boat. I don't know what the lesson is. Did we miss a Dodgers game?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I was watching the Lakers before you came. So.
How was we doing with LeBron James on our team?
So far, so not so good.
0-2?
0-2.
We can't lose any games with him.
Yeah.
He's going to get annoyed at that. He didn't come here to lose more games.
Luckily, he signed a longer contract.
He could have stayed in Cleveland if he wanted to open 0-2. It doesn't even work, that joke, because Cleveland's a better team than us.
They'll be good. They'll be fine.
I regret...
They're playing a good brand of basketball. They just have some fixes to make.
Are you making an audition tape?
Yes, I am.
You just said, hey, it's a pretty good brand of
Sports podcasting is where it's at, man.
Sports podcasting, it's 2 minutes to the hour.
Aimless Jew is no longer a format that's growing.
First of all, we cornered the market on it. Did you know Dennis Miller is back, and he wants to be funny now? Someone sent me a link.
Yeah, apparently he put on a special with Comedy Dynamics.
Is that true? Who could work
The people
with him?
behind I Need You to Kill.
I did a thing with comedy.
Right.
We're all in business with them.
Everyone is.
And you couldn't help it because you were bought out by... and this book that I'm reading about Laurel Canyon is cool because it has Michael Debar and Pamela Debar.
Oh, yeah.
Is quoted heavily in this book about Laurel Canyon.
Yeah. Well, Pamela was the Zappa's nanny.
Well, right. I kind of got a feeling like something like that happened.
Yeah.
And then there was that log cabin that they all used to play on that. Zappa had this log cabin, I think, for like a 4-month period. And everybody lived in this, almost everybody came by this log cabin, which was at the corner of Laurel Canyon and something.
Yeah.
And and then they had to get out, the Zappas, because it was just too crazy.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do drugs at all.
But they stayed in Laurel Canyon, didn't they?
Yeah, but not right on this thing that was like a block from the corner. It was like a famous place that Tom Mix had lived in.
Oh, yeah.
And tell me who Tom Mix is now.
First cowboy movie star, really.
Every time I think of him as a space guy. No.
No, he was a cowboy.
And
I would say even a singing cowboy, but I can't be certain about that.
Have you heard my singing cowboy bit?
The other trivia fact I know about Tom Mix is that he had customized tires made that left his initials in the sand. The treads were his initials.
I think that's creepy, and I also like it.
Yeah, sure. That's how a fact like that lives on for 100 years.
Well, unless he walked around and go, well, that's pretty cool. He goes, that's how the mixed man rolls. I don't think he did that back
probably
then, right?
Not, no.
But was he like, ho, da, ho, da, ho, dee, ho.
He'd go, hey, ladies, get in the mix.
Get in the mix. Why do you make it dirty? He wasn't
I didn't make it dirty.
He didn't go blue.
It would be if I would be mixing the ladies if I was making it dirty.
Can I ask you a question, though, about Mixolydian? Can I ask you a question, though? Is there anything that survives of him?
Yeah, film, I'm sure.
I'm rubbing my nose like there's something
I bet a YouTube search would bring up
every time you try and sell me on this YouTube thing, you go, I have delightful hours.
I'm sorry, a trip to the library and through their film archive.
To the library, babe. So Dennis Miller, he wants to be funny now. He's back to, it's too late.
Well, he can't rely on muscle memory, that's for sure, at this point.
In other words, he has to start from ground zero?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's a joke? Anybody write it in?
Well, each clip I see that floats by isn't funny.
Is it from his new special coming out?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, what do you think? Trumpy. Pretty Trumpy. It's dark and cold and Trumpy. Something, Dick Cheney.
Good.
It's not bad, though, but I have more commitment to the act than he does.
Yeah, I think so.
It's over for him. I want to tell you something. I'm a very, as you know, a very open person who doesn't hold grudges.
Someone built a wall between him and his talent.
Hey, when your computer guy asked you about the firewall, he wasn't talking about the firewall between you and the funny cuckoo, Kiki, Kaka, chocolate chip cookie.
There, you saved it at the end.
If I keep going, I will either save it.
You know my Weinstein's law of Kindler.
You know when I won't be able to save it? If I get to a Ricky Gervais level of where you're not self-aware.
Yeah.
Don't you think there's people, you can't believe that they're not self-aware, but they get to a point where, how could they not be self-aware, and yet they aren't? Who are we talking about? He doesn't have any juice with me anymore.
No, what's the point?
Yeah, and the thing is, Twitter, I don't know what I'm expecting from it, but I haven't had any feuds or anything. I don't know what's, taking time off from being hated.
And do you feel a certain part of yourself filling back in?
Well, I had to finish this project.
Yeah, and did you?
Well, we have two things to talk about. You went to Seattle.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. You're going to Seattle, Grandpa.
But Daddy, weren't you in Seattle last week?
No, I was in Minneapolis last week.
I meant Minneapolis. Don't you know when I say Seattle that I'm not
I'm sorry.
incorrectly?
I didn't get the updated code book.
How many times do we have to play bridge together where when I clearly say I'm going to Seattle?
I've been clubs.
To no Trump. Hey, I wish it was all no Trump. That's how I would. And I can see now, if you can see, Josh is completely asleep and there's nothing going on in his brain.
Wow, I feel refreshed now.
I feel pretty good. This is the best way I've ever started the show.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jinx it right now by saying I'm going to be this way. How long have we been doing it, baby? Oh, why do I look at a watch? Why do I look at a watch?
Well, we can. I don't know. Don't look at a watch.
Don't look at a watch ever again.
We can, since you're on such a roll, we can talk about my trip to Seattle, St. Paul later.
I really started to get scared, though, that you were saying you weren't at Minneapolis last week.
Yeah, no, I was there.
And I said,
and I got plenty to say about it.
All right, so what happened? Give us the update.
Well, let's go back all the way back to, because it was a big week last week. It was, last Sunday was the funeral for my stepfather-in-law.
Oh, I haven't seen you since then.
No. So, and that went very well. That was at their Britishy social club. He was not British. He was very American. In fact, we had official Navy people doing military honors for him, which was probably the peak of the ceremony, I would say.
I've been to one thing like that where they shoot the thing off.
No, they didn't do the shoot the thing, but they did play taps on an actual bugle.
You know, it's not, and I hate to
interrupt you. And they did the
you.
flag folding and presented it to my mother-in-law.
I love bugle, the actual sound of a real bugle, and very few people play it now.
Yeah, it was well played.
Yeah.
Although they do have fake bugles now too, where it's an electronic chip within an actual bugle.
I think that might be the worst thing I've ever heard.
It might have been what happened. I don't know. She played she played it off camera, so we'll see. So that was good. I emceed the thing, and I realized after joke number 1 that probably I shouldn't do jokes number 2 through 7.
What was joke number 1? I'm
Joke number 1 was
Let's
talking
go
about.
Back there. I'm at the cemetery.
We're not at the cemetery.
No, we're at the service.
Yeah. There was no body there. There was none, because it was like 3 months ago.
No, I'm talking about the attendance was like,
hello.
Come on, Josh, that is a solid for my funeral chunk.
Yeah.
Nobody, there was no body there, literally in the audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the patter that Andy wanted read here at his funeral.
Andy wanted many of his friends to be here at his funeral. I think he would have been sad that most didn't show.
Right. So like L.A.
It is Monday.
Everyone's coming till they don't come.
Yeah, everybody's got an audition. They got called back.
So the tester joke was you have that look in your eye.
You know
like, what are we talking about?
I was thinking
what
of
are we talking about?
John
look?
Tester.
Yeah, no.
John Tester.
No, it's not that.
Oh, okay, so your joke at the funeral service.
Okay, you're back
Did
with
someone
us.
bring you up? No.
No, I took charge.
Okay.
But I did have to do that sort of, we're starting, sort of stand there silently after
And
I
here's
say,
the bathrooms.
thank you, everybody. And then everyone had to settle. I had to do
Ooh,
that.
that's not an easy thing at a funeral.
No.
Come on, people.
But I think the tester joke was, technically Lee was my stepfather-in-law. But, over the years, I really came to love him like a biological father-in-law.
What are these people, stiff? What kind of crowd is this? What kind of a crowd? First of all,
They were in their 80s, and
know what?
I think they might have actually been genuinely sad too. But that's besides the point.
well, I think they were sad, and you know what?
But you think they're used to that shit at this point?
Well, but I don't think people know the mother that you are supposed to hate your mother-in-law, mother and father-in-law.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was. It wasn't a hostile joke. It was just. It was.
No, it wasn't. No. But I mean,
It wasn't like a mother-in-law joke, is what I'm saying.
Right.
There's no contempt in it.
Did you see? Is one of these things like where I think no
It
one's
wasn't
laughing?
No, it got little chuckles,
Yeah.
but it was like, okay, I get that, and that because that was about the easiest one, that was the one.
And so you did no more jokes?
I made a couple of side comments because I introduced a lot of speakers, and they also played "Anchors Away" after the flag ceremony, and it was a really long recording.
What
and
is
so
that
it's like,
song?
Anchors away,
my friend.
It's the official Navy anthem.
Oh, I always thought of it as it's not Notre Dame, right?
No,
So it's when I'm watching Army Navy, all of a sudden,
Navy just scored. Yes.
Oh, right. I used to root for Navy just because I thought they were gentler.
I like their blue.
It's true. I thought the Navy wasn't as violent.
Yeah.
I had a very strange.
They're just not very hand to hand about it.
That's what my girlfriend said on our wedding night.
Your girlfriend on your
Or my
wedding
wife,
night?
something like that. Whoever would be with me on that evening.
I had 2 rooms.
Mentioned this to me. Well, there were 2 things going on. There was a very special buffet in heaven that
Right.
night. I don't know if I ever told you about that. Jimmy Durante was there.
Really?
And he said, "What do you think Harold Lloyd sounds like?" No one could figure it out. I told you that's the gift that I got that I keep every time I see Eddie Pepitone, I harass him that he got me a 4 DVD Harold Lloyd set for a present. And I would be mean to him. It's silent films.
Right.
And you're going to tell me the guy's very funny. I think we've had this discussion
We
before.
have, of course. Yeah.
And he's great.
I'm not saying he's great, but I'm saying that, the amount of scorn that a professional comedian would have for another comedian giving him something to
sad.
fill in his fucking cultural,
Especially, but what am I doing? It's not like I'm sitting on the Sony
This is why
lot.
we're doing homework now.
Oh, I did my homework, too.
Yeah, I did too.
Oh, no, I did.
No,
I don't remember what your homework was.
I bet you don't.
All right, but let's continue on with your...
But I ain't pleased about it.
Oh, my God.
Didn't like it. We'll come back
Was
to
it
that.
something? It was a movie, right?
Yeah, it was a movie.
What was the movie?
It was lovely and amazing. Didn't like. We'll talk about it.
Don't slam the
No, I'm sorry, I
coffee
shouldn't
cup
have.
down.
I wasn't slamming it. It's paper.
I am very disappointed in myself, maybe. But did you like Friends with Money better?
I think so.
Yeah, that might be. It was one of our early movies. Anyway, we'll get to that.
All right.
But now, okay, so you went.
So we did the funeral. That all went fine. Next day, I did the Largo show with Chad Daniels, which was really fun.
How was it turn out?
Turnout was pretty good. Not full, but good.
Yeah. I like to hear about it when it's not full. Cause
I felt bad as I was saying it. Like, okay, great. Now I have to fucking
why
hang
is he
Chad
doing
out to
that?
dry.
Yeah, why
Well,
is he
thanks.
getting on Chad's bad side? He doesn't. You know who's not going to listen to the podcast?
Chad Daniels. And then the next day I went off to Minneapolis.
I don't get. Oh, because of my Seattle joke. Is that like a callback?
Yeah, to 2 fucking minutes ago.
Yeah, but what if the original thing was so not worth calling back?
Well, I kind of thought it was. It was pretty befuddling.
Tomato. Hello.
So I'm tired is my thing. We did 7 shows and they're like 90-minute shows.
7? Where are we now?
Acme in Minneapolis.
Okay, but you dropped out this Monday.
No,
First of all,
I did.
how
Okay.
Was Allison okay during the whole thing, or was it hard for her?
She was fine.
Okay. I'm talking about with your set, not with how she was feeling emotionally. Oh, mama, tell me what you're gonna do.
I mean, she doesn't come.
What?
I know. It's weird to not have your wife go on a gig with you.
Any of these going to work as wild for our Christmas special?
We'll put it in the Christmas special.
Is that me like I'm a lawnmower of comedy?
I don't know. That sounded like a jungle bird, actually.
Hey, let's see if I can get this my show out, the throttle of my show going. No, what? It's not as easy as it looks like. It's not what it's cracked up to be, this Michael Winslow thing.
No, it's not that. It's like, I always wanted to podcast with Charlie Callis.
Because okay, so then Monday you went to Minneapolis.
No,
right?
Monday was Largo.
Oh, Monday was Largo. Okay. And I usually make 500 or 1,000 to open for some, well, I don't know what you got. I make about 1,000 every time I open up for someone.
Yeah. Well, someday you'll get up to mine.
The world's oldest joke. And so, okay, that was Monday. And then Tuesday, you started it at Largo. At Acme.
Yes.
With Chris Bliss.
The
last time you guys are going to record, play together. I didn't ask you why it's the last time.
Just because it's a couple reasons. One, Chris is kind of, frankly, winding down. He's talking about like moving to Spain and shit. But also just because, like, we've done it a bunch of times now.
How many times did you say, like 10?
More than 10.
Wow.
Over the course of 15 plus years. But, and we just, the solo headline weeks are valuable to both of us there.
Right.
Oh,
so were you getting a solo headline and another week?
There were a couple of years where I did.
Yeah.
But mostly, no. It's once a year, and I had to choose between the...
Chris or, right.
Yeah. Like this past year, this is my second time this year because I did that new material show in April.
Which is called?
Crash and Burn.
Crash and Burn, yeah.
But the big... So I did... Yeah, so we did 7 shows. I did like 4 podcasts. I did like a Q&A with some high school students. So I've been talking a lot.
So are these like back to where you went to high school?
No, it was an Acme thing.
Acme generated thing.
High school senior thing. And there was like 3 people who showed up, but they were cool. One of them, a Thought Spiral listener. Shout out to Zach.
Oh my God. Hi, Zach.
Now, this 18-year-old Thought Spiral regular listener.
This is someone who's 18 years old. That means they're a senior.
Yes.
And they like nothing but forget about parties. They like nothing better than Thought Spiral.
Right. I think,
And a keg.
Right.
That makes me so. I mean, talk about a movement that's.
And he said, I like that. I like the chaos of it. He likes how it could fall apart at any second.
And it does.
Yeah, it does.
So that's why
every second.
Well, that's why when you call me up, you're so upset. Hey, you're not giving enough. I'm giving what it should.
Can you imagine if I called you up and said,
"You're not giving enough"?
Yeah, my mama has Parkinson's. Oh,
why aren't you giving more? My mother
has Parkinson's.
So the show was great, actually. I mean, for the last time, it was as close to what I had always hoped it would be as it ever was. So,
is it you on stage together?
Yeah, it's us on stage the whole time. And over the years, we've sort of like traded off, kind of 10-minute sets, sometimes a little longer, sometimes shorter.
And someone would go somewhere?
No, we just the other person would just sit. We each have a stool on the side of the stage, and the person would sort of step forward with their shit.
Right.
And people, we'd interject occasionally.
Yes. You weren't strange.
But essentially, we were trading off sets. And this week, what really happened was we were really like totally freestyling and making it so we were making one set out of both of our acts, essentially. So we were really going back and forth a lot. And whenever you hit a topic that was appropriate to someone else's bit, he'd throw it in. And it was really fun. Yeah. And Chris was really in the game all week. And
so who takes the material? Is there material that you had to divide up?
No, it's not. I mean, it's not stuff. It's stuff that already exists for the most part. I mean, I was working on a lot of new stuff this week, but we're just pulling from our inventory and putting it in the correct,
right
in the spot. But it's different each night where it comes. But
is that when it starts to now? What's the turnout for that show? Is it starts to get into a winter? I know I never draw, but it's starting to get into the winter
Why
swing.
do you have to keep asking this about people's draw?
Because I just feel like,
it's
look,
very small. No, it was okay. We sold out. I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think there was like 3 sold out shows.
Do you have an exact head count or
there
not?
was a couple of very light shows because,
and I'd like to see the tape on it.
Yeah, okay.
How was the podcast?
Which one?
The Acme one.
It was good. You know, it's my fucking 30th appearance on it. So, but thankfully, Justin, who hosts it, we talked about Thoughts Bar a lot because he's a regular listener as well.
God damn it. You talk about Thoughts Bar. You won't ever do that on our wedding night. And when we're dating.
Wait, you're going to get to something funny? No.
Yeah, I thought if I had one more thing, you'd accept it, at least.
It would have been an official submission, at least.
What were the other podcasts you did?
We did Tom Bernard's, and we did his radio show, and I did my friend Bill Corbett is launching a podcast.
Oh.
And
these are your sophisticated friends, Mary Jo Pell.
I saw Mary Jo Peel. She came to the show Saturday night.
Pell? Peel.
Because it's P-E-H-L.
And they don't care about when I go there. I never see them hitting me up for black sheep pizza. I don't know where I'm coming from, but it's really depressing. How cold was it?
It's like how tiny a fact can you try to spin about you? That's the real question.
Yeah, and then at the end of the day, is that really that good?
It's not that attractive, I gotta say.
And were the I forget if you're a Vikings fan.
I wasn't. I'm enough of a Vikings fan to have watched them kick the Jets' ass on the way home on the plane.
Wait, when was that?
Sunday, yesterday.
Oh yeah, we lost yesterday.
Yeah, to the Vikings.
And the thing I didn't like about it was
how you lost so badly.
Well, no, I didn't like when at the end when they were not rolling up the score, but I was hoping because I'm not watching the game. I don't get to watch the game unless I have a satellite dish.
Right.
What do you have?
I had a seat on a plane.
No, but I mean, in normal life,
I have cable. Just cable.
So you can't.
No, we're screwed because of now we have teams here. Now we have. So we're bound by all those
But
things.
they played Philadelphia playing, I think, Carolina. They played that over my team, the Jets.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter. I would have watched them getting smushed.
Yeah. No, I don't really.
I know you're rooting for the Dodgers.
Sure.
And have no feeling about Boston.
I feel like they overplayed their hand after they won after 100 years. They they went from sad sack to to
who needs it?
Bullies.
Yeah,
bullies.
I think they've won 12 times since they never won.
Exactly.
How's your brother? Did you see your brother? Any exciting?
My brother's well. I saw his youngest kid.
Who's how old now?
9.
Whoa. And are they Thought Spiral fans?
No. Chad is. Or he was.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. You haven't checked with him recently.
No.
And
why pull at that thread?
Did you come home on Sunday? Have you been home for a day?
Yeah, I got home yesterday.
All right, well,
It was a good trip. But here's the big news, and it relates to conversations we had. It's not the big news, but it's news, is that I'm not going to do an album now.
You are?
I am.
Oh, my God.
I just booked a week in April at Acme to do it.
April?
Of 2019.
Oh, my God. That's not that far away.
No.
Wow. And why do I feel like you owe me something?
I don't owe you anything. I know that much. But I do think, but you definitely fucking tricked me into thinking about it for sure with your, I thought you'd like the creative challenge.
Well, this is very, very exciting.
Because it was really a chain of things. It was that conversation which got into my craw, which is like, yeah.
How would that get into your craw? That was
because you changed my thinking, my frame of thinking.
I get in there.
I went. You came in the back door.
I took you out of your comfort zone.
You found my soft spot.
I went for your soft spot.
But there's a lot of things that went into it, and one of them was like at Largo. I was talking to Flanagan, who owns Largo, and he's going on and on about the people who've come in with all their new material. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
and then I've also been thinking, because I was talking about how I hate doing. Not how I like doing, but I'm kind of worn out from doing all these self-generated projects.
Yeah, yeah.
But the truth is that all of these projects that I've done, with the one-man show with Bliss that I co-wrote and directed, and the album with Allison, and the doc about DeBar, and the doc about these other guys.
Wasn't about you.
None of it was about me.
Yeah,
and in fact, in the docs, I really tried to pull myself out of them as much as possible. So I've never taken that swing before, really.
Yeah. Who are you going to get to play you in the movie?
I don't know, someone better. That's for sure. Maybe someone with hair.
So you have to be invested in this now.
Yeah, so it was no, but
You have to be
I don't know. I
invested.
mean, I'm hoping to find someone who will fucking produce it and put it out. But
Right. Do you have
But
any
now I have a
ideas?
date. I don't really, but I'm going to talk to various people. I just wanted to put a date on the calendar and go, okay, that's when it's happening.
Right.
And I wanted to do it before, in case I do a TV show next season.
Are you doing? What do you mean?
In case
TV?
if I staff on a show, writing.
I don't know what you're doing. Is this boom, 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 boom? You have to give me lead time.
So, and then, and the other thing is just like, okay, it's what fucking comics do, and I have a lot of material right now, especially since I had to go through my inventory so much in my head this week because, because of the way the show was.
Right.
It's like, there's a lot of material I love that I'm sick of.
Yes, that makes sense.
And it's time to like officially lay it down, put it away without letting it dissolve into midair,
Right.
But it's time to move on and write.
Yeah, because like you're a different person than you were when you had the medical things.
Yeah.
So,
I'll put the cancer stuff on there and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that I won't and that I will have to write between now and then too to be happy with it. But
that's great.
But I'm definitely going to do it.
So you're going to need more time locally as well too.
I am.
So it's time for me to get going on it.
Maybe you could help a little.
I didn't do one thing, but I got something else done. But I'm so close. I finished the project, which was unbelievable. And the project was the hardest thing I had turned into the hardest thing of my whole life. I mean,
it had become your taxes.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And my taxes are now my taxes again.
Okay. Phew.
But the thing I learned about it was that, and that's good to have therapy when you're going through something like this, is that what my therapist wanted me to realize was that what was happening to me was because of OCD. It wasn't something I was bringing on myself.
Yeah.
It's what the disease, if you buy the disease model is always problematic with anything.
Right.
Alcohol, disease. But the illness model is very valuable when you realize, it's not that my mind wants to get screwed up in all these different pretzels.
Right.
It's just that's what happens. And the more it becomes a thing I obsess about, the more it becomes paralyzing to me. So
I could have told you that.
But Susan helped me. Susan was unbelievable. She did tell me the whole time, let me look at what you're doing. And I'm like, I know, but you can look at it.
Right.
And so she really was amazing. She cut out all the ideas, and we put them on a piece of, on the table.
Yeah.
And, but I feel like a tremendous weight's been off my back.
And did the person respond well to what you gave them?
Yeah, because they're like, my whole thing was, I couldn't describe it's like, I don't like doing Andy to camera, and I don't like descriptions at all. So in my mind, I was weighted down by this need to over-explain, which I didn't do, and it actually worked out well because then they asked the question.
Right.
When you're talking about this, do you mean that could be something to shoot?
Right.
So it was like what a normal person goes through normally with email. For me, this is like, these are, I think I'm probably, I don't want to put a time limit on it, but I think like a couple of years away from returning emails, having my life more organized.
Right.
Or maybe that's just a dream. Maybe I shouldn't even be thinking about that. Why do I have to have a goal? Because I hate the perseveration.
Foster Brooks, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't like the persever. I don't like thinking about stuff too much. So now,
Well, good. I'm glad you got it out.
Yeah, it was unbelievable that but the thing that was good for therapy was like, she got me to look at why I always agree to do things that aren't really my strengths, like, or think I have to do it,
right.
Which is, I've got to write this a certain way. And so anyway, hopefully it will be a well-learned lesson, but it seemed like I descended into a black hole, you know?
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk about it either because it was just annoying to talk about.
No, but I mean, the last couple times I saw you, I mean, I could tell that energy, that, you know, and when you start going, I'm on a deadline to everything, you know.
Yeah, because that's the problem, too, is how I run my life when I think I have to have a deadline, and it's not even like these people are making me do it. I make it into this big thing.
No, I had the same thing with the Debar doc a couple of years back. There was just like, I had, you know, literally months of like waking up in the middle of the night going, why isn't this happening? What can I, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, it becomes a spiral, if you will.
Yeah, it really is like but when my therapist said, when she couldn't believe I had written anything because I was telling her I was paralyzed, but I was being hyperbolic.
Right.
Of course, I'd written 12, 15 pages of stuff that I'm trying to then narrow down and then spin out of control. And
Right.
so.
Well, you know, I think.
Onwards and upwards, I say.
Sure.
I know people were rooting for me to have trouble because it's more, you know, the people who are what I call cliffhanger Thought Spiral listeners,
right.
They want to know what happened that I obsessed about, that got me in trouble. Guy in the car thought I was doing something, and now I was haunted my life. That's what they want.
Well, you've delivered once again, friend.
Maybe they don't want anything. Maybe they're tired of me trying so hard in the podcast. I'm sorry. I seem to have a stomach upset me.
There does seem to be a gurgle from within.
Well, because I have some carbonation in this mixture tonight.
I don't want to know even.
You know, the fact that you don't want to know makes me feel better. Like I don't have to report to you.
Right. We just know there's a mismatched thing of different liquids and some weed juice.
There is some weed juice in there.
Yeah.
But I don't seem high. I just seem boring.
No, you know, wait till hour 2.
Oh, because that's where you start to fear with me.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I know right out of the gate.
I come in. Well, it's not always because I'm stoned. It could be another agenda I have. An agenda I don't know I have is usually what it is.
Right. Sure.
Oh, you don't buy that?
I don't care. I mean, you know, we're doing a show. No matter what, we're doing a show. Whatever mood you show up in.
Well, do you suffer from? You don't suffer.
There's some weeks I go, oh, it's going to be one of these.
Right, but so do you? I struggle with doing a podcast. Not all the time.
Yeah.
But I struggle with the idea of doing a podcast. It's not like smooth like stand up or.
I do not struggle with it at all.
Oh, so you don't think about it? Oh, that's good.
No, because we're on number 77.
Right, but if I'm really boring,
I mean, you know, I might have just jinxed everything by saying I'm not afraid to do this show, but I'm really not.
I'm afraid. It's not that I'm afraid of the show. I'm afraid that I get my mind into that thing where I think I have to perform.
Yeah.
And that's OCD is a mean mistress, Josh. It's a mean mistress.
I understand.
The more you start to think about what you're saying, the more you talk about what you're saying, the more annoying it becomes. The more annoying it becomes, you start to realize you're 45, you're 50, you're 55, you're 60. And what you thought was going to be a skyrocket to fame is not even a plane glide to mediocrity. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's you wake up one day, there's an unexplained pain. 2 weeks later, you had a hospice.
You took yourself from 45 to hospice in a single monologue, and I like it.
Oh, okay. So I did see. Should I go over the Big Lebowski?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's our homework for
Well,
this
I'm
week.
very sad that you. Okay. Well, I'll say it first. This movie I had not wanted to see forever because I was very. My friend Bill Kaufman says "dude," and we say "dude" to each other, but it's kind of a comment on it. But I was so sick of it by the time this movie came out, I didn't want to be reminded of how often we did it in our lives.
Okay.
Dude. And it also was during that, Rob Schneider had done a whole thing about dude.
Right.
So I had this whole thing built up in my mind about, and I love the Coen brothers, so I don't know why I had a thing built up in my mind that would be hard to watch.
Yeah.
I thought it's a little slow at times, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I watched it again if I would think that.
Right.
Because I always tend to find, like, the way Buscemi is just constantly looking over his shoulder, like, he's playing almost like a sketch, but it's so well done. It doesn't seem like a sketch.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's sort of always the secret to the best Coen Brothers stuff to me, is that everyone's right at the edge of reality. Like, right at the edge.
Like Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think, went not too far, but went as close as you can.
Yeah.
Because he was very much almost cartoonish.
It's very arch. I mean, it's a very arch movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
But it's a pretty great movie.
It's a really great movie.
And it's just got so many great scenes, you know, and they take so many big swings and, you know.
Well, they have a line like, they go, the brain, it was Ben Gazzara says to him, the brain is the most erogenous zone on the the most erogenous zone. And then Jeff Bridges goes, on you maybe it is. It was all kinds of lines like that.
Yeah.
And also the way, I know that I would love to see it again because all of his stuff was so funny, but I don't remember it all about hey, we got a situation here, or on the one hand it looks good, or he had this patter every time. I'm weighing my stuff,
right.
I'm looking at different things, and there's just something about him. I'm glad I saw it now in a way.
Free from your prejudice.
No, free from having I didn't like him in all those No Country for Old Growling people. That's not him, but he was in Old Country Singer. He was Old Country Singer in the movie.
I can't remember what it was called, but yeah.
So I started to see him as this like Nick Nolte-ish character.
Yeah.
But that's not what the dude is. Mm-mm. That's not the dude.
No, it's a pretty original character.
And all the things, the little idiosyncrasies of the rug and losing the rug, and Amy Mann's in it.
Yes.
Who else is in it? There's,
John Goodman is really
John Goodman
hilarious.
is great. Dom Herrera's in it. He plays the taxi driver.
Oh, right.
I think Susan's, we didn't have a long discussion about it afterwards. Susan enjoyed it, but she did think it was a little loud, which I can understand. The John Goodman character, but I know he had to do that to get back to that. I mean, that is the quintessential guy from Nam.
Yeah.
Now. You know what I mean? It's never been done before that well. Never will be. It's just so great that he brings up. Now, here's the other thing. He orders White Russians, but in one bar he calls it the Caucasian.
Okay.
Give me the Caucasian.
Right.
So it was really cool. Julianne Moore was great.
Yeah. No, it's just dripping with great stuff.
Man.
So I'm glad you saw it. That's good.
So, wait a second. The way now, you can't get angry.
No, I was kidding. I'm not angry.
But you know, I remember loving that movie, but I also know that it was one of their earlier movies, one of her earlier movies. So what was
It was just such a fucking slog, I thought. It was, I thought the movie was lovely and amazing. And I can't remember her name, the director.
Well, it's hard to even remember how to pronounce it. It's like Nicole Holofcener.
Okay. Holofcener, perhaps?
Holofcener. Holofcener. I think that is it. Charles Jaffe was her stepfather, and I met Charles Jaffe before.
Like Rollins and Jaffe?
Yes, and he was very, very, very sweet.
I really didn't enjoy watching it, but I also didn't think it was terrible. you know what I mean? I thought there was great performances, but it amounted to nothing. It was like a lot of movies of the turn of this century. Those indie movies. There was a lot of movies where it's like, yep, people are fucked up. But on we go. You know?
Like Mike Lee type movies, or
kind of like, I mean, this was pretty Mike Lee-ish, I thought, in its way. It wasn't quite as dark as that.
Yeah.
But there wasn't, there was no, here's my problems with it. Every piece of dialogue was exactly what people were thinking at that moment.
Oh, okay.
And there was no conflict in it, really.
Yeah.
You know, it was a story of this dysfunctional family, but they were basically functioning, you know, except for they were kind of fucking up the youngest, you know, with their narcissism. And
it's based on something that her mother actually did. The adopting either she did or her mother did.
Okay.
Adopting a child.
Yeah.
So it was bad. I read that afterwards.
I mean, it's hard to describe the movie essentially, but it's the story of this family of women.
Brenda
Blethen is the mother. Let me just get info up so I don't have to stumble through everything. Because I don't think people are. I also had to order the movie and have it delivered. So
Oh, man.
the only way to get it was on DVD. So it's two adult sisters played by Catherine Keener and Emily Mortimer.
Right.
Emily Mortimer is an actress who doesn't seem to like acting all that much for the business.
You're talking about in the thing.
Yeah, in the thing. No, I wasn't bashing on actually Emily Mortimer. Catherine Keener was playing a very Catherine Keener kind of character.
Right.
And then their mother, Brenda Blethyn, had adopted this like 8-year-old African American girl played by Raven Goodwin. Right. Really well played by Raven Goodwin.
Yeah, she was great.
Goodwin. But there was just, like I said, there was no conflict in the movie really. So the only thing, the mother has an operation, an elective surgery that goes bad, which you see coming a million miles away. And so it's just it's her, her fate sort of hangs over the movie as an artificial piece of suspense.
Right.
But it just sort of goes away at the end and she's fine and everything goes back to normal and there's no one has changed at all in the movie. They've changed partners and stuff, but it's just like there was no one to like. Mm-hmm. And that was the point, is that these people were being played as real, with all warts and all.
She's very Woody Allen-ish in that way.
Yeah, it was a lot like Interiors, except funnier, than Interiors.
Yeah, I think...
But she's really good at observing people's shallowness, and she's really good at observing, at sort of giving people sort of real-world justice for their flaws, kind of. But again, it didn't amount to anything. It was it felt like an episode of modern TV in the sense that it felt like a day in the life of these characters that you kind of like just because you've seen them enough, you know? But there wasn't enough time to like them or care what happened to any of them,
Well, now I have to go back and watch it. There's another movie too.
You can have my copy.
Okay. Oh, cool.
You seriously can.
Oh, please. It's called Walking and Talking. Is another one that I saw that I remember.
I think that was her first.
I remember liking that movie, but the one that I think is the best of her movies is Friends with Money.
Yeah, with Jennifer Aniston.
With Jennifer Aniston, and the one that she did with the guy James Gandolfini was also pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. What am I, Mr. Rogers?
Was that the last one that he did with Julia Louis-Dreyfus? Was that hers? Okay.
And it's called Please Give.
I never saw that.
And it's good. It's good. Oh. All right. Enough said.
That was the James Gandolfini one, right?
That was like 2013. That's a great movie. That I will say that I should have told you to watch that one. I'm serious.
Yeah, Enough Said was the James Gandolfini Julia Louis-Dreyfus one.
Oh, but I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. Then Please Give is the one that maybe it's Please Give.
Okay. Well, you like her, is what you're saying. And
yeah, she's like Woody Allen to me. And the thing that I love about her is the way it reminds me of comedies or movies of the 70s, where the comedy came out of the... I mean, it seems like that's not...
To me, it didn't feel like that. To me, it felt more like alternative comedy scene, where it's like... I'm terrible. Like me anyway.
Right. Well, I don't think that no, I think at her best, I think she is, I think, that other one I said,
Please Give, Enough Said.
The one with
Walking and Talking.
No, with Jennifer Aniston.
Friends with Money.
I think that's a pretty great movie. So I would stand up for that movie. And say how funny it was.
I liked it. I remember seeing it. It not much stuck with me, but I liked it.
See, I've seen that probably 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to go back and watch
this. But this kind of reminded me, like I was saying, about other movies of that time, like You Can Count on Me, which I liked a lot. Did you ever see that?
Yes, I like that movie.
And kind of like the Station Agent kind of vibe, too, where it's, flawed people. It's a good one. It's really good. So...
What are we going to do next week?
Well, I grabbed a few things from my thing, just from my now abandoned DVD library. Manchurian Candidate, you've seen? Yes? No?
I've never seen that movie.
That's probably one you should. That's definitely a cultural literacy one.
Okay.
Okay, you can have your choice, though. You said, I think I remember you saying you never saw Life of Brian?
No.
You haven't?
No, I haven't because I saw the other one.
And you didn't like
I'd
it?
like to see Life of Brian, maybe. And what's the other?
You can count on me. I put in there actually.
Yeah, I saw that.
Holy Grail. You've seen?
Yeah.
Okay. And this one's bonkers. Have you ever seen Skidoo?
No.
Oh, it's fucking crazy. It's terrible, but it's crazy to watch and fun to watch.
Is it really pretty bad?
Yeah, but it's like you have to see it, kind of.
Okay.
It's Jackie Gleason. It's Groucho Marx. It's Carol Channing. It's Otto Preminger directed it. It's like Otto Preminger late '60s weird acid trip movie. It's fucking bonkers, but it's worth seeing.
Maybe I should do that one.
Okay.
Because that would be, it would split. It would. What's the word? Mix it up.
It would mix it up. But Manchurian Candidate is a real movie. But
Why don't I take both then?
here's the cast on the cover of Skidoo.
Yeah.
Jackie Gleason, Carol Channing, Frankie Avalon, Fred Clark, Michael Constantine, Frank Gorshin, John Philip Law, Peter Lawford, Burgess Meredith, George Raft, Cesar Romero, Mickey Rooney, and Groucho Marx playing God.
How could they afford the movie?
What do you mean?
Well, there was all those stars in there.
It was a Preminger movie. It was a studio movie. It's crazy.
Okay,
Watch it.
I will watch this. Now,
Yes.
what should we assign you? You've seen Breaking Away, right?
Yeah, I love Breaking Away.
Did you Midnight Cowboy? You can't go with any of those.
Love it. Seen it.
5 Easy Pieces.
Yes.
You've seen all the Altman films.
Not all of them. I could watch Nashville.
Nashville.
I've only seen Peace. I've never watched Nashville beginning to end.
I would love you to watch Nashville
Okay.
because I went to Phil Rosenthal's house. He was the Raymond guy, and he has a movie night. Mm-hmm. And he went, and so he sometimes he tries to get someone from the movie. So he got the guy from that movie, and I can't remember his name right now.
Keith Carradine?
No, it's not. It's like he played the manager of somebody.
Okay.
And
Was Rip Torn in that?
he might be, but this guy's name doesn't ring a bell all the time.
Okay.
And he was so angry when after the movie, he wasn't angry, but it was like, I was on to Altman. He was claiming that Altman had changed with the movie. Well, see, I thought Altman was like someone who went like with whatever he was thinking at the time, maybe.
Yeah.
And so I think what happened was this guy got very mad because the original script wasn't this way.
Yeah.
And he took it so personally, like he got screwed. So it was amazing to hear him.
So was he the writer?
No, he's like one of the guys in the movie.
Okay.
One of the guys in the movie.
So I don't understand what he was pissed about. He was pissed
because
he changed the dialogue on set?
Everybody thought it would be, everyone loved the movie. He thinks the movie was ruined because originally this was supposed to happen and they changed it completely. And he went through a whole long thing about how they changed the sets and they changed it. I couldn't even follow it completely.
Yeah.
But it was so surprising because you normally would think, he was funny when he was talking, but he was kind of like, I think he was kind of like saying Altman was like a trickster in a way or a con man in a way.
Okay.
But
He felt manipulated into a performance that he didn't know he was giving, kind of a thing?
Kind of.
Okay.
And I couldn't disagree more because I love all the things in the movie.
Right. And is Nashville your fave?
I loved Shortcuts.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen Shortcuts. The one that
And The Player I loved.
I love The Player too.
Yeah.
I don't love The Player, but I like The Player.
I know. It's
You know what? The one that doesn't hold up is MASH.
I'm afraid to see it again.
Yeah, it really doesn't hold up to me.
It seems like it wouldn't.
Yeah.
When I'm thinking of it.
No, because it's like half the movie's the fucking football game.
Oh.
It's like, why did this movie become a football movie?
There were also, when I was addicted to the show, I couldn't watch it now.
I still, every once in a while, because it started to be on a lot again on cable, and I still have a pretty warm spot for it when I watch it. I don't go out of my way, but I still have kind of a warm spot.
Yeah,
when
I laughed at it for years and years and years, so I can't fight it. But
I watched it long after I laughed at it. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Well, I think maybe we all did.
Yeah.
But they were so much more likable than the people in the movie.
Right.
Now Loretta Swit was in the movie and in the show.
No, she was not.
Why do I make up things?
That was Sally,
and while
Sally
I'm saying
Kellerman
it,
was in the movie.
Why am I, as I'm saying it, I'm convinced. Such a moron.
Gary Berghoff, I think, was the only
I don't
one
care,
who made
Josh.
those.
That's not the point. The point is, why do I make up things that are just lies and present them
It's
as
part of the Trump era.
Did you know?
It's part of the Trump era.
Did you know that Loretta Swit was in the original movie? No, she wasn't.
It's time for Wrong Facts with Andy Kindler.
So you didn't know it then,
This
right?
week's Wrong Fact is...
Yeah, MASH is it's more an anti-war thing with him. The movie. I don't remember anything from the movie now.
Yeah, it's clear. You've made that clear.
No, but I've seen that movie 3 or 4 times. I've not seen them. There's movies I've seen like 5 Easy Pieces. Every one of those movies I've seen at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
If they're my favorite movies.
Right. Well, the thing about MASH is there's nothing in it that's weighty enough to really stick with you that much.
It was a popular movie.
Yeah, I know, but it wasn't good.
Well, because you had Elliot Gould.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go wrong with him.
Right.
And then you had the other guy,
Right.
Kiefer Sutherland's dad.
Right, him.
And they would do things like you'd have meatball surgery. It'd be like, oh, look at all the blood. And it was good for Robert Altman's people talking over each other thing.
Right.
I saw Gosford Park, but I have no memory of it. Am I remembering the wrong thing? Was it him?
I think so.
I don't know. You know
I'm
what?
not even sure, though.
This is like...
I just remember Bob Balaban in it.
Bob Hey, you know, Dennis Miller, if he had a Bob Balaban bit, he'd be so great. Bob Balaban.
I haven't seen a deal go this bad since Bob Balaban blew Joe Buck in the bathroom.
You know, people... You know, this is odd to me. I've met Joe Buck. Is that his name?
John Voight?
No, I've met John Voight, too. Do you know that I met John Voight at the Republican National Convention?
Oh, when you were Lettermaning?
Yeah, and he was like, hey, you know what? He was crazy. How are you there? How are you? Whoa! He started massaging me.
Aye.
But what were we talking about?
Bob Balaban blowing John Voight in the Midnight Cowboy.
Midnight Cowboy cha-cha. I don't know what I was on. I was on to another thought.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, by the way, I want to tell you this. Before we take a break, I want to say I am 1 week. Next week, I will be ready, and I'm doing it old school, so it might not even work. I'm doing it old school because I see it as a challenge, and I don't understand why I shouldn't try it. So I'm taking my old I have a double cassette deck,
Okay.
right? And then I'm going from the output of that on the back to like the RCA cables go into where your microphone plugs in. What I didn't know about the microphone plugging in was that the microphone can be an input or an output. I did not know that, Josh.
All righty.
Did you?
I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm with you.
Okay, if I want to take this thing out of that cassette deck
Yeah.
and put it into my computer,
Okay.
you go through the headphone jack.
Okay.
Josh, how long were we both out for? So, well, supposedly then I could do it with GarageBand. I could bring it. I don't know how to use GarageBand, but I'll figure it out.
Okay. Good.
You excited?
I am.
All right, what do you got for us?
I got. I'm going to do play a Depreciator Gruber song, which he gave me permission to play.
This is great.
This song also ended up in the Naked Trucker show, and it also he played it. We played it together a few times, opening for Cinematic Titanic together.
Right. Did you get him to sign a release? Because I don't trust him.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
As much as I can throw him.
So this is from one of our rehearsal tapes here at the house, and it's called "Nobody Laughs at a Clown."
Maybe I've seen this, heard the song.
Probably.
Yeah.
Who, ha, her, hair. No one likes talking to a drunk unless he's buying. Nobody says hello when they're goodbye. Unless they're all lying. Nobody eats eggs and bacon when they're frying. That just be dumb, you probably burn your tongue. And nobody laughs at a clown when he's crying. Boo. are multiplying. We're just bringing spirit babies' bodies. Oh, no one likes a confused giant from people buying. That big dumb bastard's got it all mixed up. Nobody watches their clothes when they're crying, unless you're stoned in along from that. Nobody laughs at cloud when he's crying. Boo, like a fucking baby. Boo, when he's
Oh, that is beautiful. I like it's got a little Roy Orbison at the end
A
there.
little bit there.
And that's now his song was Crying.
Crying over you.
Crying.
Over you.
So, I love that song. And I do remember having seen it when I would go to see the live show of the Naked
Largo,
Trucker.
yeah.
Naked Trucker. That's a great song.
So he gave me permission when I was in Salt Lake City to play that. So.
Did you think he wouldn't, or do you think that...
No, I knew he would.
You knew that he would,
but I needed to ask.
I still think you need to ask, and I'm so... those other things that you did, that you told me, ripping off the dead people's things without telling their family, not happy about it.
Well, you're just named in the lawsuit. All righty. Do you want to move on to the...
Letters. We've got people who love us. They like to reach out and ask us questions. It's time for No, it can't be viewer questions. It's time for your questions. It's time. But how about this one? Hey, everybody who likes giving feedback. Maybe we don't need a song.
Not so much. We had the Gruber song, and then you ruined it, the whole vibe.
Do you think that I've ruined music as a field?
No.
Okay, good.
No. But you sent it back to the Stone Age.
I did want to ask you though, because
Yeah.
it's like I don't know that much about the Byrds, and I wish I did know. And I met David Crosby, and I'll tell that story a million times.
Yes, you will.
But you know what I almost said I told Susan today. I say the stupidest things in front of people, the most embarrassing things. The director of Wings. I was on the set of Raymond and the creator of Wings. I said, it's one of those shows nobody really watches Wings, right? They say they watch it, and the guy goes, I'm going to have to stop you. I created that show. So I almost did it with David Crosby because I loved hanging around with him. I did not know he was in the Byrds because I was a Dylan fan before, because I was too young.
I don't understand how those two things follow.
I'll show you. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I got into Dylan before I got into the Byrds.
Okay.
Because I was in like the 70s.
So what, you were mad at them for doing Mr. Tambourine Man? What?
No. What I said was I liked Dylan. I was going to say to him like an idiot.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I've always liked Dylan's version better. Why would I say that to him? Even not knowing that he was in it.
Right.
What would be the point of it? It would just be a stupid thing to say that I remembered that the Byrds did a version, but I didn't remember he was in the Byrds when I was doing that.
Well,
So
faux pas averted.
So I wasn't aware of their whole thing.
Yeah.
And this book is making me more aware. Like, they did an album called Sweetheart of the Rodeo.
McGuinn and McGuire are still getting higher in L.A. You know where it's at.
Now, that's Mamas and Papas doing that one,
Yes.
right? Yeah. No one's getting fat except for Mama Cass. But the point is that I didn't know about Sweetheart of the Rodeo, which I guess was a commercial failure, but it was a great album.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Yeah.
I don't know anything.
I know a lot of this stuff through the whole Pamela Des Barres
Oh, that's right.
studying stuff too.
So you went at the same topic from a different direction.
Kind of, yeah. From below the belt. But I have perfunctory knowledge about a lot of that era just from caring for,
I just like that I'm starting to fill in the blanks of musical things. Like, I thought I was into country rock,
Yeah.
and it was how marvelous of me, but that was very popular in the early 70s.
Yeah, like the Burrito Brothers and the...
Right, but even like Neil Young's, what's that album called? The
Comes
I
a Time.
Dreamed I Saw in the 1970s. Oh, come on. Old man, take a look at you, who. So that was country, and so was Tumbleweed Connection by Elton John. There was a lot of it that I didn't realize that was a thing that was going around.
Right.
I just thought, wow, how did I get hip about this country rock sound?
Well,
After the Gold Rush
right.
was one of my favorite
Yes,
albums.
good album.
I'm an idiot. It's not your fault.
No, just
Well, you don't have to give me that look. Well, there's no reason to punch me.
no, it's adorable. It's like watching a 4-year-old discover there's something other than them.
Maybe that's what it is like for
It
me.
is like
Why don't
that.
you have a little empathy for the guy who never knew there were others until this
For a guy
podcast?
discovering empathy.
Yeah, now look at me. Now try and get a comment by me that I didn't hear. It's worse. I'm hyper-vigilant listening.
Let's start.
Let's do it. I love Test Show 77.
Okay.
I love the number to it.
Yeah, it has a nice ring.
Well, it's like Sunset Strip.
Sure. And you're Ed Kooky Burns.
Now, you never saw that show, right? 77, Sunset Strip. Hey. I think that was a terrible show, actually.
It seems like it was.
Yeah,
I've only seen clips of it, but
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Isaac Crow. Ooh, a heavy question right off the bat. Any experience/advice with social anxiety and starting conversations with strangers? Ever been shy? How do you beat it? I constantly am shy in those situations. I'm very receptive to strangers starting conversations with me because they do a lot, and I'm generally pretty engaging when I can be. But I am very paralyzed when it comes to small talking my way.
You know
into,
the feeling that this person...
Absolutely.
What's their name?
Isaac Crow says this.
I think a lot of times it is sensitive people, too, who have this, you know?
Yeah, it seems incompatible with being a stand-up, but it's not. You know.
No, it is. Yeah. So I have a lot of social anxiety that I didn't realize until I got help in therapy. I just was like not aware of what I was
Right.
doing.
We handle it differently, though. I handle it with silence. You handle it with jabbering.
But you see, but now I don't do it as much.
Yeah.
And I'm more uncomfortable when I go out, but it actually feels more real. Like I'm not trying to perform.
Right.
So I'm trying just like not hate myself for feeling awkward and then just realizing that everyone kind of feels awkward. It doesn't always work though.
Yeah, it's a combination for me because there's a certain, I have this visceral hatred of small talk. Like I always have. So it's a tough wall to break through for me to see if there's going to be a real conversation to be had.
Do you know why you have that?
I can only guess it's fucking arrogance, really. You know, that it's just like, I'm not interested. This is beneath me, this guy, you know. But it's not really how I feel, but there's something about it that just, I have like the visceral reaction is to like insincerity, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to
I don't want to be put
talk about the weather or...
Yeah, I don't want to be put in a position of being insincere, even though it doesn't matter.
Right.
The other thing is that I'm just such a natural observer that it is kind of my default position to just kind of monitor the room,
Right.
rather than, you know, I'm more suited to be observer than participant in a lot of situations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I wrestle with it a lot, and I do. The other thing is ADD is a big issue for me. So when I'm in a cocktail party situation, it's really hard for me to focus on the person talking in front of me without being distracted by equally loud voices or other conversations that fish hook into my ear or something. You know.
Yeah. I have,
So there's a stress level of like concentration for me to like to stay connected with the person in front of me.
Yeah, and I find that, because the ADD and the OCD, when they combine, it's a very potent mix.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, what did they say? What did they say? What did they say? What did I say? And you can't quite stop obsessing.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of ends of sentences I don't hear in those sorts of conversations because my brain's jagged off somewhere. You know?
I don't drink. But people who drink do feel sometimes like Susan will say that when she has if I'm driving,
Yeah.
she has the cocktail.
Social lubricant.
It is a social lubricant.
Yeah.
And
And it has had that effect on me before, but it also has not. It's not a surefire tool.
no. The only thing is that I've noticed when I start to get a little drunk, which I don't very rarely do,
Yeah.
is I do start to not care how I'm being perceived as much.
Right.
And I like that feeling.
Right. Well, I mean, that's why there's alcoholics, because it quiets bad voices in a lot of people's heads,
Right. Well, the question is, how do you get there without it? And because it's the alcoholism does not have a good track record.
Does not have a long-term success rate.
And sometimes when I smoke pot, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes I don't care, and sometimes it.
Yeah, see, to me, it's like the smoking pot thing. Well, first of all, it's sort of irrelevant to how I perceive things.
Yeah.
But it's also, I'm not, as we talked about, I'm not like, I want to smoke pot for this experience. I never
Well, I always want to smoke pot to feel real. Because what I'm struggling with is you don't want to smoke pot all the time, I've heard. But the thing that I really like about it is what I'm looking for is I'm uncomfortable before I smoke. And then when I smoke, it makes me more comfortable.
Right.
But, it's like you want to keep a balance with it. There's no free lunch.
No. So we didn't help Isaac at all, but there's no answer how you beat it. For me, there are times where I find myself, pep talking myself, for lack of a better word, into just fucking proactive, like really making an effort to engage with people as an experiment. Almost, it feels like sometimes. Like tonight, I'm going to mind over matter my way through the evening and see if I can.
Sounds like a great
get
party.
better at it.
Sounds like a great party, Josh. But the thing is that I
forgot what I was going to say because I had to say something snarky and unpleasant to you along the way.
I blew it. I lost it. This is where the tests are coming back on my dementia.
Yeah, and the weed from.
And I forgot to look at them.
Remember what I was saying about the weed kicking in for the second hour? Hello.
Maybe I'm just bad at what I do.
It could be, but your eyes are starting to unfocus.
Oh, you can't.
So, yeah.
I have weed and you have weed in
I
here.
know.
I have
That
weed.
was my point.
Yeah, but I would have lied about it in the old days.
Well,
now I'm Mr.
gee,
Honesty.
what an upgrade.
Oh, Josh, save me.
Johnny L. Tenney says, since this episode should come out before Halloween, as a kid, what were your favorite and least favorite Halloween costumes? Also, was there a house in your neighborhood you were scared of for any reason?
My sister dressed me as Goldilocks, and I didn't enjoy it, but I did not enjoy it.
No, but we're talking about Halloween.
Ba 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 beep beep. Skaduba. I like scuba diving. Snorkeling's fun.
Evel Knievel was probably my favorite.
You dressed up as an Evel Knievel?
Yeah, it was
That's a good character.
it was a full on store bought Evel Knievel costume. It wasn't like I applied any creativity to it.
Well, I did when
The weirdest one was a PLO member. My friend and I went as PLO members in this very Jewish suburb.
Why would you do
I don't know, but we put on keffiyehs and like black clothes.
and made fun of the terrorists?
Well, we didn't really make fun of the terrorists. We sort of honored them, which was even weirder.
Yes, that's the way you should. That's the way you should look at it.
It was even weirder.
The only thing that I wore well was was when I would put a tablespoon on, and I would do my version of the lounge singer, which Bill Murray did, and I would have a Mr. Microphone.
You put your tablespoon on? Did you?
I would
say?
put a tablespoon on a chain.
Okay,
like
like
it's
a Coke thing,
spoon,
but
right,
it was a tablespoon, so it's
Mhm.
even.
I thought you'd get it without me explaining it. And then I would just go, hey, how's it going? And that was okay until the year I took that acid, which I've told you that story, and I freaked out. And then I went to the party, and I was like, yeah, I'm the guy.
So you were in your 20s, though, when this was.
This was when I was 21, 22. I didn't go to parties. I don't remember a lot of parties. I do remember some parties, but I loved Halloween like it was the greatest thing in the world until I was too old to like it, and then I just it started to get depressing.
Yeah. No, I have a lot of hostility towards it now.
How come? Oh, because of people coming over to the house?
Yeah, I hate that. I hate the trick-or-treaters. I hate adults in costumes. There's no winning. So.
Why aren't you delighted by the young children?
Because they're coming to my door every 5 minutes, making my dogs bark and fucking making me hate them.
Is there a WC?
Also, they're asking for food.
Yeah. Is there like a WC Feels Like character in the neighborhood who's like, yeah, come here, yeah. Now get out of here. Is that you?
Only internally.
Do you see when people come by the house and they're not casing it on Halloween?
Yeah.
Do you know these people?
No.
You don't know any of these people,
Not
right?
anymore, no. I mean, the people we knew who had kids, the kids are, we've been here 20 years now, so.
Oh, and do you think they're scared of your property because you're an old man?
I'm not as scared as you are.
I walked by here again
There's
today.
4-year-olds less as scared of the dark than you.
Did you see me today?
No.
I walked today, and Susan said, "Get the hell home." She didn't really, but it was already dark, and by the time I got home, it was pitch. It was too dark for a man. You know, I consider myself a real man.
Yeah. Did she really call you and say, "Come home, it's dark"?
No.
Okay.
I told her I'd be home, and I don't play games.
Yeah.
She doesn't like me. She knows I'm nervous when it's dark, and there's no streetlights in our neighborhood because we can't afford streetlights in the valley.
Yeah.
This area where we're living in was an area that a lot of people lived in who partied in Laurel Canyon but couldn't afford to live there.
Yeah.
And they would go down Laurel Canyon. I haven't even been to the country store. Have you?
I have.
All right. But you take the ball and run with it.
I did, but I haven't gone there.
Yeah. And there's also that Laurel Canyon Plaza thing that has like a deli in there.
Yeah.
Hello?
What? Ma, is it time for school, Mother?
Why would that be like your default character? Maybe you're like falling into a spell? Mother, is father coming home?
Greg Kelly says, "Is your car clean on the inside or have a bunch of trash in it?" Mine's more the latter than the former.
Mine's clean, I think.
Yeah.
It's meager, but clean.
That's OCD versus ADD.
That's true. Yeah, you have like a you are it's not messy. Yeah, you are more on the let's just put it this way. You're a fucking no. No, you don't worry about things being in the car. And that's a real tribute to yourself. You haven't cleaned your goddamn car since Shavuos. I don't know what the point I was trying to make about you, but put a goddamn cone in there.
A cone?
Yeah, like those pine cones that hang on the mirror.
Yeah, pine tree air
Pine
freshener.
tree cones.
Yeah.
It's a pine tree.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're slurring your speech now.
Well, why didn't you put some Vitalis in it? Hey, the whitehead's dead. I go further back in time.
Chris Woods says, "Mr. Kindler, since Mr. Weinstein is an MST3K alum, do you consider yourself a fan of MST? Which is your favorite Josh episode? And which episode was Dr. Earhart replaced by TV's Torgo?"
Well, this is another thing that I don't seem to be able to get learn the lesson of. Is right after I tweet about questions, I look into the area and I get fooled every time, to answer it. Then I saw this question,
Yeah.
so I started to realize that I don't know who Dr. Vigo is.
Yeah.
Dr. Vigo?
TV's Torgo, he said.
No, nothing. I realized that I had not lied about having seen the show, but I had seen the show. I know I have laughed at the show.
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough me in the show. I always felt.
Right.
And nobody ever asked me to do the show either. That's how I decided.
Right. All valid. All completely valid.
I wanted to be in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I still watch Seinfeld.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That was a bad analogy. Now you hurt my feelings. No, Andy was never a fan. No, really, none of my friends are fans of the show, for the most part.
When I watched it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, they like it, but none of them are fans, you know. Paul Feig was a huge fan of the show.
Ah.
But most, you know.
I bet Dana Gould was.
I don't know. I mean, he kind of hung out at the beginning. He came out to the studio one day and wrote with us. In fact, he was the first one to call it riffing.
Oh, what do you mean? Were you trying to claim something in the Guinness Book of Records?
No, but people who are fans of the show would give a shit, and some of them listen to this show. Asshole.
You were so excited to get to the angry part.
I was.
Asshole.
Yes. Mark Thompson says, are there any TV shows, movie, or music acts that the two of you have found you completely disagree about? Lovely and Amazing comes to mind.
Lovely and Amazing, but I don't think we disagree about Friends with Money, so I may have yeah, I think we disagreed about something recently. How much I like I love Steely Dan, and so I'm kind of defensive about it. And so I'm waiting. I don't know what I want from Josh, but I want him to say, "Oh, they're good," but he's just not into them. So,
I'm not into them. I think they're good, but I don't.
Right.
But I don't have like a vehement anti Steely Dan stance.
No,
I
but
do with some, like Yes. I have a pretty vehement anti-Yes.
Yeah, well,
stance.
that's understandable.
That's Frank Conniff, and I get into that a lot.
He loves Yes.
Yes.
Close to the edge, close to the boo boo doop.
Oh, one more thing about the MST question when he made reference to TV's Torgo, which was almost like a trick question for you, I think. That's Torgo's a reference to Manos, the Hands of Fate.
Oh, of course. That didn't escape me.
Which I've never seen.
And what is
Which
that?
I'm proud to say.
It's a movie.
It's a movie, and it was a very famous Mystery Science episode. It was sort of it was one of the movies that Mystery Science brought into the light that it probably would have disappeared forever without.
Did you ever get people from? Maybe you answered this before. Did you ever get people from the film?
Oh yeah,
and they were excited that it's being shown.
Some yes, some no. I mean, some were the opposite of excited, but most who you heard from liked it.
Yeah, yeah.
There were a couple like Peter Graves sort of called us idiots once. In
what
interview.
movie was he in?
A few of them.
Well, he did a lot of.
I'm just sure he got tired of being asked about it in his later years.
Oh God, Peter Graves.
Supposedly, Joe Don Baker was all pissed off about.
I saw a
movie called Mitchell.
Was that
a movie called Mitchell? He was apparently all pissed off about their treatment of him. But it could just be honestly, that's like more.
If you're sour, the only reason why you would be sour about it is if you made the movie. But if you were in a bad movie, I wouldn't think you'd be. Maybe they are, because they go, why?
We had some of each, We had some people gladly hand over their movies to us. We had some people who were pissed. We had some people who were insulted. We had some people who were excited that their movie got seen again when they never thought it would,
But some people...
But some of the movies got a second life because of it.
But some people were like, yeah, you're going to... They were like they would over exaggerate how successful they want to get money out of you, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have to do a lot, Mostly, during Mystery Science Theater, it was HBO and Comedy Central that were doing the negotiations. But like for Cinematic Titanic, we had to cut some of our own deals.
I'll tell you something. You try and violate Viacom's copyright and see how...
You'd see how long you're in business, mister.
We couldn't do... When I had my own... when I did a pilot called Andy Town, or was it for the Pet Shop? I don't remember. But they wouldn't... Comedy Central wouldn't let Jonathan Katz stand in front of a poster of Dr. Katz and do a piece.
Really?
Because they own Dr. Katz.
Wow.
And doesn't that steam you?
Dick move! Nick Cosset, hey Andy, looking good today, I gotta say. Very interesting what you said about the Big Lebowski. Stand up during the break? Hell yeah. Josh, have you ever considered directing any scenes of adult erotica?
I got lost by your delivery.
Yes, I was trying to give you the truest way that I felt the truth.
In other words, he's what's that an impression of?
Nothing. It was just his tone that came through in his tweet. There's a lot of exclamation points and question marks. I was trying to give them their due.
Unbelievable. You put a lot of English.
So yeah, so he was paying attention to know that we'd be talking about Big Lebowski.
Unbelievable.
We didn't put stand up in at the break, but that could be coming down the pipe once we run out of music. But it sounds like
Andy's
but
on
it sounds
the
like
trail.
Andy's music's coming back to the show.
They better be right about my RCA to 3.5 millimeter.
And no, I've never. I mean, I've never considered directing adult erotica.
You haven't?
But I would do a movie with a sex scene in it.
Why?
But it would be awkward.
The way you said it was so creepy. Why are you looking for this movie that you have to have a sex? You went there so fast.
Hey, go back to your sippy cup, old man.
Sippy cup.
Michelle Wisecarver.
Hi, Michelle Wisecarver.
Can't think of a question, so I want to thank you guys yet again for everything. Oh, I so look forward to a new show every Monday. Loved Allison's song last week and the last Super Bowl song and pretty much all the songs you played. Thank you for the funny.
This is the kind of thing
Thank
you want to hear.
Thank you for the receiving our funny.
I saw the letter. I didn't respond to it, but they want to send us money, this person.
Yeah.
Did you remember that letter?
Yeah, once in a while we get people who want to help us out.
And what did you say? 200, 300, 500?
I made a side deal.
Well, you should do it. Why would you do that? Why would you do it? Well, here's the thing. Send us your routing number.
All right.
And something about Venmo. I don't know what it is, but I just made a joke.
Sure. Stand by your man says, Andy, what would your perfect day with Lucky entail?
Probably a bath together. Ooh. No, I would hello.
Actually, if you would, I would.
What are you
I'd
saying?
release her for that.
Are you saying, you wash doggy thing, right?
Yeah.
But you bring it to. You don't go to you wash doggy. You go to they wash doggy.
Yes, exactly.
Is there a lot of money in that biz? Because I'll get right into it and I'll charge you first.
All right.
But I think it would be. What it would be like would be just curling up, as if I was get to stay here all day, take a nap with Lucky. That's what I'd like to do.
You're welcome to house sit sometime.
Don't turn these letters into your own agenda so fast.
Yeah, that's not like me. Monster Force, do you think you are ready to be in the U.S. Podcast Hall of Fame? I certainly think so.
As soon as you said Podcast Hall of Fame, I got a little depressed, like it's in Canton, Ohio, and it's like drab.
Right. Hey, did you go to Politicon this weekend?
No, because you screwed it up for me. If you had been in town, I would have made it happen. But then I asked one more comic, and he couldn't do it, and then by that time they were past me.
And you went, I'm on a deadline.
What's that an impression of?
I don't know. I think it was maybe Pat and you. It's Pat and it's Andy.
Meow. Meow.
Tommy Barcanero says, is it ever confusing or difficult to get into the right headspace when shooting scenes out of sequence for a movie or a TV show? Also, Allison's song last week was spectacular. My favorite song yet. And there's been a lot of good songs.
I love that song.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember the name of it. What's the name of it?
Somebody Loves Me.
Oh, yeah. But it's kind of sarcastic, right?
No.
Oh, I blew it.
Okay.
I'm mixing it up.
Yeah, I think that's part of a director's job is to get the actors in the right headspace and let them know from where they're coming and where they're headed scene-wise.
Yeah.
So, it's such a common... It's way more common than not to shoot out of sequence. So
yeah, and I don't know even if it was being shot in sequence, it wouldn't make any sense to me anyway. It's not like I'm bringing a.
Well, no, but I mean, as an actor, you want to know where your character is at in the arc of the story.
I was trying to be
unless it's lovely and amazing, where there is no arc of the story and the characters don't change.
When is he going to stop? I'm just trying to be funny, and this asshole's like, I'm not going to play a goddamn dead dog dedication coming out of a live dog dedication. I like that moment of silence.
Do you?
I get it a lot. He gets it a lot. Karnak. May a weird holy man. Oh, Karnak. Seems to. Did you just cue me?
May a pregnant yak break water in your jacuzzi.
Oh my God. That summed up everything. No. Karnak not feeling so well. May a weird holy man. Okay, why are we going backwards? Let's go.
May a celebrity plumber fix your Farrah Fawcett at Olivia Newton-John.
I bet you pitched that on later with Greg and you.
No, I pitched it when I was 3 years old.
No, I pitched...
to a nursery school teacher.
Can you tell me Aces the Place is your favorite theme song?
No, it's Liberty, Liberty, Liberty.
Oh.
Wait for it, Liberty.
I hate those people. I hate singing. I hate harmony. I hate those commercials.
Liberty, Liberty, wait for a short one, Liberty.
It reminds me of We Are the Farmers. They're trying to copy each other.
Yes.
Dennis Hastert is the only guy. That's not his name.
No. Well, no, he's the Allstate guy.
No, Dennis Hastert is the guy from, was the...
Oh, no, the speaker, the child molesting speaker to the House.
Oh,
yes.
why do you bring that into it?
All right, moving on.
We're doing good. This is one of my favorite letter sections.
Kenny Loggins III also asked, best Halloween costume you ever had. Sticking with Evel Knievel. Enlightened Misanthrope says, I was wondering if most comedians would rather be musicians? You guys, Bill Burr and Mark Maron, are all guys who play or have. Do you think that is due to being creative, or is something about becoming a famous comedian that's caused by not making it as a musician? Well, it was for Andy. That was the case, it seems like.
Wow. So quickly.
But I never wanted to be a musician as a living. And I still don't. Even if you offered it to me, I would be really reticent.
Oh, no. I wanted it because that's the generation I grew up. If you saw Hard Day's Night when you were 7 years old or whatever, that's who you wanted to be. In that generation, you wanted to be, but I'm
not saying I don't have rock star fantasies, because clearly, anytime you play in a band, you have some sort of rock star fantasy. But it has nothing. I've never wanted to pursue it as a living.
Oh,
like comedy was always.
Well, you did kind of. I see.
But I never. Literally have never tried.
I wonder why that is, because like when I thought all kids did, but obviously not.
No, I never. I always played music growing up, but I never thought of myself as a probable musician. I thought of myself maybe a singer, I guess, but more like an actor who could sing. You
didn't have a lot invested in it, like emotionally.
No, I had a lot invested in playing and liking it.
Right.
And I still do. I've been playing a lot of bass lately, but no, it's always seemed like a really ugly, stupid business to me.
I wanted to do it. I wanted to be a musician, and I couldn't believe it when I got so sick of it that I didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
It was so I was so ready to do something else.
Yeah. The only thing that ever seemed, what seemed fun about being in a band was that you're in a band.
Oh, well, that,
but I then was in enough bands early enough to know that bands suck.
Yeah, but that's true. But I'm talking about these fantasies when you're 6 or 7, when you take a tennis racket and you pretend you're in a band. That can fuel your first initial assault.
Sure. And but I started as a stand-up at 15. So
that's right. You already were a professional.
There wasn't.
Entertainer. I'm sorry. I can't consider the music.
I didn't really have a lot of time to go down a lot of wrong roads.
Yeah.
So, but it's always been a joy of my life to play music with people. But I've always sought out people who are fun to play with rather than people who are going to, be virtuosos too. Yeah.
I think that my heroes are so many musicians, but I'd also like to be Muhammad Ali sometimes too.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can be.
I feel like my real heroes all along the way, Elvis Costello, I guess, creeps in there, but he was never, I was a fan more than wanted to be him.
But I had fan worship of Dylan especially. I was like, changed my life kind of thing.
But all the people who I ever sort of projected myself onto were comedy people.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of
those are the only people I could see myself being,
I just don't remember in my life that anybody talked about comedy people. It was all rock and roll.
Right.
Until Saturday Night Live came on. It's always in my dream, the whole Saturday Night Live.
You badmouthed it too much to Steve Higgins. It'll never happen.
Steve Higgins, I saw him at the Saturday Night Live party thing.
Yeah.
and he was very nice.
When did you go to that?
That was that one that I got invited by. Michael
The
Che.
Emmy thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I went to, when we were in New York, one of our times, the Cinematic Titanic, we went to the after party, the SNL after party.
Where is it?
It's different every week.
Oh.
And they don't announce it until right at, that night.
So it's at an establishment normally,
Yeah,
right?
it's at a big restaurant usually because it's a shitload of people.
Oh, and then they probably close it down? And,
Yeah.
Oh.
This was that night, it was at this big sushi restaurant, but it was like a huge place.
Did you eat sushi, too?
Yeah, I sat with Steve Higgins at his table.
Oh. Was that fun?
It was very fun to do once.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it wouldn't be fun every week,
Does he go every week to the after
I think
thing?
so, yeah. I think
Yeah.
as the producer, he feels pretty obligated to do so.
He's a busy person.
He is. But, that was a really fun trip, too. That was that trip I've told you about where we were treated like somebodies for a few days, where we went on Oberman's show on MSNBC.
Oh, wow.
We were treated like nerd royalty at Mad Magazine, and we played Broadway, and then we went to the SNL after party, so we felt like big machers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
That will never happen to me.
It'll never happen to me again, but it
never
was
have
fun.
that.
It was fun to once go to New York and be somebody. Daily News Fight says, do you think Dress Pants Guy and My Pillow Guy could ever team up to sell some sort of deceptively spiffy yoga pillow?
Well, I'm sorry. I would not have done this, Josh, if he hadn't brought it up.
Yeah.
I got something new, baby.
It looks like a pillow topper, but it's not. Well, it is. It's a My Pillow topper.
But I got a new one now.
I did. I have to say that My Pillow Guy, doing My Pillow Guy in Minnesota last week,
Big?
no, lost a lot of luster somehow.
He's just sick of him. He's just sick of him after a while.
They might be sick of him. I might have lost some magic on the.
I think that must be it.
It was like the first couple of nights it was hard, and then I found a way in that got them. But it was like just the impression itself.
Used to be solid gold.
Used to just lap it up. Now they just won't. No. Now
won't
I have
give
to.
up for you.
Now I have to actually have a premise and work him into it.
Oh, okay. So he was talking about. This is the Rebecca Schaefer story, which I'm sure you know that story.
The actress who was in My Sister Sam.
Yes.
Okay.
He describes the plot of the show in his case file voice.
Yeah.
But when they tried to get him to trade her
But when they tried to get her to trade her
clarinet.
Come on.
Wait.
How am I going to flow?
Okay. There you go. Okay. When they tried to make her trade her clarinet. Sorry. But when they tried to make her trade her guitar for a clarinet and some Benny Goodman records, she tracked down her sister in the big city.
But when they tried to get her to trade in her guitar for a clarinet and Benny Goodman records, that's when her sister had to track her down in the big city.
He describes the. He actually goes. The sisters were joined by the usual cast of wacky and stereotypical sitcom sidekick. In this 3-paragraph thing,
It looks like Mork and Mindy, but it's not. It's a stalker murder.
but it's almost like someone seeing, because it's not his field normally. He's making you see how you could never watch a sitcom again, right? With typical stereo wacky sidekicks.
It looked like a funny next door neighbor, but it wasn't.
That's it was a mother.
She looked like an ordinary housewife, but she wasn't. She was a witch.
Sabrina.
I was going Samantha. But
I meant Samantha.
did you? Elizabeth?
Not really. I was going to swing either way with it.
Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah.
I met Barbara Eden at Dragon Con. Hello.
Who'd you meet?
Barbara Eden. Hello.
Where?
At Dragon Con.
How is she? Is nice?
She was-
What is Dragon Con?
Dragon Con.
What is it?
It was a big sci-fi con.
Oh, and when you were a younger man.
No, 10 years ago or 9 years ago. I wasn't a attendee. I was a guest.
And she was nice?
Yes. We were checking into the celebrity check-in.
Okay, how about this?
Okay.
Kate and Allie at 8. Bob Newhart at 9.
Kate and Allie at 8. Bob Newhart at 9.
He's talking about how they had a great slot for the show. It was a great slot.
It was my sister Sam right after Kate and Allie at 8. Led right into Newhart at 9.
He goes, navigating this new relationship, the chalk and cheese duo. That's what he calls the chalk and cheese duo of Pam Dorber and Rebecca Schaefer.
The chalk and cheese duo.
Proceeded to turn each other's lives upside down whilst giving each other valuable life lessons.
What are you reading?
I wrote down word for word.
Oh, okay. You're transcribed. All right.
Because he was like it was like just a way of slamming the show, but he wasn't mean to be mean.
Right.
He was like, they learned valuable lessons. They are wacky whilst learning very valuable lessons.
And what? So is it more than one episode though?
Of what?
Of the story, the Rebecca Schaefer story?
No, it's one episode. Okay. So during that episode, when he started to say, describes in very clinical way that sister Sam. Do you remember the show?
I remember basically, yeah.
That was a sad story. I don't want to give up the ending. Moron. What a stupid fucking moron.
Jim Meehan asks, have you ever heard an audience member, not necessarily heckling, shout something genuinely funny? Oh, yeah, of course. And you know what you do? You laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
happened this week. We had a tech glitch with the music thing we were doing at the end, and a couple of things came out of the audience that were very funny. Yeah, callbacks, usually, you know.
Well, that's the thing about when I've been in a crowd, I wanted to sometimes say something.
Yeah.
So I would never rule out that someone can't say something, but you could see how it can get out of control.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, but there's a way to receive it without ceding control, you know?
Right.
And graciously is generally the way to do it, you know. A.D. Morgan says, can we give you homework yet? Have you both seen Mikey and Nicky, written and directed by Elaine May? It's one of my favorite films. I never have seen Mikey and Nicky.
I would see that.
Okay, well,
let's write down on some master list.
Yeah, we'll take, we won't necessarily heed your suggestions, but we'll certainly take them.
Well, I would have heeded them.
Because I don't, for example, I'd rather pick things that I can get online than order. Right.
Is that what you, the lovely, amazing, another shot about that?
Yeah.
Still bitter?
Yeah, I'm still bitter about that.
Well, did you have Amazon brought it over here?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Derek Ferracci sends a picture of a Generations Funeral and Cremation Services sign with the quote, your alternative cremation and funeral service provider, with the question, what is alternative cremation? I'm going to go chunky style.
I just brought to mind there's a very funny cremation scene in The Big Lebowski.
Yes, there is. I used to do a line, not for very long in my act, about how when I die I want to be dropped, I want to be in a helicopter and then dropped over my high school. Not cremated.
Just dropped.
Just dropped. Felix Potfan says, weed is legal in Canada, Andy. We have 52 strains to choose from. What's your favorite weed, Andy? I need to narrow down my choices.
I like all the sativa brands. I know October 17th was the official day.
Yeah.
And I love a lot of the sativa brands that I like. Green Crack.
Yeah.
Is good.
Right.
I like everything pretty much.
My place calls it green candy because they just they find green crack to be distasteful, I think, because it was a medicinal place. Oh, so I was on, that was pretty funny. Speaking of My Pillow guy, I was on with Tom Bernard, and My Pillow guy had been on the show earlier that day.
He'd been on Tom's show?
Yeah. They're friends, apparently.
Oh, my, he came into the studio?
No, well, I think he called in.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I had actually been on his radio show before where clearly he had been there because there was like a bunch of My Pillows on the table outside, where they put all the swag. But he was saying how Mike Lindell, My Pillow guy, was very touchy about his when Tom mentioned his meth addiction, he was like, "It's crack." He was like, really? He was very defensive that it was crack instead of meth.
That's a bad day.
That's a bad day.
Can't they get it right?
Amelia Fox says, "Tell us as much as you can about the fiddling horse without violating your NDAs."
Well,
it's up in the air
at
this point.
Up in the air.
We're rooting for him.
That's right.
Hient says, "My band recently played our first gig. I know it was a gig because I kept referring to it as such. Somewhere during the show, I realized we're boring, and now I'm afraid we won't get more gigs. Unacceptable. What do?"
What to do?
Yeah.
You have to go through the, and then also...
Sorry, my Lucky's making weird walrus noises.
Usually, I think it's a sign that you're creative if you get bored. You know?
But I don't know. I think he was saying they were boring to the audience, though.
Oh. Yeah. Well, could have been an off night.
Could have been. Give it another try.
Yeah, don't turn it upside down, the frown.
Probably your reputation won't spread so far that you won't be able to find another gig.
Don't go back to the same town.
Exactly. Move on. Down the road.
Are we available in Sweden?
Dana Schwartz wants to know, is this the first question? No.
That son of a gun.
Chaotic Neutral asks, are there any new comedians in the business less than 10 years that you think should show the same kind of promise Mitch Hedberg had? I'd like to get on the ground floor.
This is always a tough question because the people, I can't think of their names. What I'm thinking, I see people all the time though who are young kids, and I see them. They got that pizzazz. I do see it a lot, but I'm not coming up with any names.
Yeah.
See, if I say Ron Funches, he's already been in. This guy, they want someone not the new Ron Funches.
Right.
What do you say?
I don't have it. I don't know.
I mean, I love Lori Kilmartin, but she's been around.
She's around as long as us.
Yeah. Okay, I'll tell you who I think is great is Megan Keister. Megan Keister, who I like to call young Andy Kindler.
Yeah. I hope she sheds that like it was a fucking poison ivy.
I'm telling you, we have the exact same brain. We have the same thing, and she's hilarious. Megan Keister. So that's the takeaway.
Okay. I'll buy that. Is she 10 years or under, though?
Yes, I think she is.
Yeah, she's like in her 20s, I think, or late 20s.
Maybe late 20s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
I want to say she's 30.
Like I said, she was on the podcast with Meryl Marco.
Oh, yeah, because she did the audiobook.
Right. Perush. Impression request. Hannah Gadsby interrupted by the dress pants guy.
Who's going to do Hannah Gadsby?
That's you.
Why do we do it?
It looks like a stand-up set, but it's not. It's some sort of hybrid.
I don't think I need to do that.
I don't think so. No, it was implied. This has been asked before, but if a movie was being about Thought Spiral, who would you want to play you, and what would the plot be? Any twists? I would be searching for Andy, who's lost in the dark somewhere, trying to get home desperately.
That would be good. That'd be a good cliffhanger, especially if I died. I would like to say, who's that kid? Who's the kid who all the woman? Ryan Gosling would play me in any movie.
I think that's probably true. Yeah.
And
I'd be Chris Rock, probably.
Right.
Yeah. That was Bilal Zafar who asked that.
I guess I got. Oh, I know who that is. I guess I got depressed by the idea of knowing there's not going to be a movie made about us that I can think of. There might.
Well, I'm not going to assign you the treatment.
Oh,
I'm on a deadline.
my mother has Parkinson's. I'm tired.
Seth Dick III, are you familiar with the stand-up comic stylings of actress Krista Allen?
I know the name, but I don't know the act. Is she a comic or? Why don't you answer it?
Okay. No.
Have you heard the name?
That's our show for tonight.
We'd like to thank Nelson Eddy and the orchestra.
Nelson Eddy. Nice.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Guy Lombardo.
Yes, and the Royal Canadians.
How come you don't hear about Lady Lombardo? Gal Lombardo. Guy Lombardo's funny. How about
Sure.
Gal Lombardo?
Yeah.
I could write those kind of things all day and night.
I know.
Because they're nothing.
It's like
they're literally...
it's like feeding James Adomian manna.
Because I had a little problem at the coco. I can't wait till me and you are at the Reseda Show Business Retirement Home, and we have rocking chairs, and every 3 weeks someone comes in and recognizes us.
Right. You really think we're going to be in the retirement home at the same time? Maybe on visiting days.
Oh, just for that, I wish you have a condition.
Thank you. I'm going to the spine doctor tomorrow. All right, so homework for next week. Andy's watching Skidoo by Otto Preminger. I'm watching Nashville by Robert Altman. If you want to write to us during the week, thoughtspiralshow@gmail.com or Thought Spiral on Twitter. Please rate us and review us
And
on
please, only
iTunes.
good reviews.
Yeah, that's been the trend.
I'm trying to add.
There's a lot of good reviews going.
Yeah, but
on.
I'm trying to add on
Thank
to
you.
be
You're
part of this.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Try one. Try a promo.
Oh, if you want to write to, do we do write to us already?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, if you please, I need to kill. Oh, hey, go to the Razzle store.
It's a Zazzle store, but go to Zazzle.com/thought_spiral and get one of our fine t-shirts. We got a couple more coming up soon. And
I had one more thing to say, and I lost it.
Yeah.
This should be the way it always ends.
this is the way it always ends. That's the problem.
So in other words, it's just arbitrary where you end it.
Pretty much.